Test, test, test. You guys hear me? Jesse B52. Good to see you again, Jalen Stone. If this the test to see if Alienware operating system interferes with performance, I think so. Yeah, it was interesting on some of the tests that I did with Tomb Raider and Forza. The Alienware Aurora R13, it surpassed this one when it was in 1080p mode, but for some reason in 4K, the HP Omen 45L seems to be coming on top so far. Let me get my chat set up real quick right here. Chat pop out. Spiral Gaming, what's up, bro? Love the vids. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Eddie H, gotta eat dinner with the fam real quick. I'll be back later, but we'll leave the stream going. It's understandable. So I thought I had Fortnite completely downloaded. I had a version of it on a hard drive. So then right now it looks like it's verifying that all of those files are the correct files. So hopefully I'll be able to run that. Because I know I promised somebody that I'd run the benchmark with them on here. All right, let's see. Corbin, thanks for the sub. Glad to have you on. So we're at 57% verified. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and show you, just to recap for those of you that missed it. Oh, I'm going to close Tomb Raider first. Make sure that's not slowing down our install. It's one thing I don't like about Windows 11 is you can't control Alt Delete for Task Manager. I basically opened it up before and made it a pin to the taskbar so that it's always there, but it's kind of weird that the Task Manager is not activated by Control Alt Delete. All right, we got rid of Shadow of a Tomb Raider. 62% verified on Fortnite. So that might be done pretty soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to. So to recap, looking at Geekbench 5, the single and multi-core scores were lower than both the Corsair Vengeance i7-300 with only a 3080 GPU. But then when it came to the CUDA scores, the HP Omen 45L beat out both of those machines significantly. I mean, it's more importantly, the fact that it beat out the Aurora R13 is pretty impressive. But then when getting into Cinebench R23, it had a lower score in both the single and multi-core scores. And pretty interesting that in the single core score, it actually did worse than the Corsair. But then when we jumped into 3D Mark, we had a 17,730 for the overall score, just a little bit more than the Corsair, still under the Aurora R13. But then when you look over to the graphics score, it looks like the GPU performed a little bit better. So that's understandable why when we're taking these computers to higher resolutions that we're seeing more of a difference in performance once we get to that point. It's interesting that it's not really trying to use the GPU that hard when we're at the lower resolutions, but then it seems to, I guess, kick into turbo mode and use more of the GPU than its competition once we get into the higher resolutions. So we're going to see on our next tests if it does the same thing on those other games. So we've already gone through, as you saw, the Cinebench R23, the Geekbench, and 3D Mark. This stream for the next 3 hours from 9 a.m. CST to 12 a.m. CST, we're going to be going over only games, so we should be able to cover quite a few games on here. Looks like Fortnite is at 73%. That's good. Let me catch up on some of these questions real quick. Been watching a lot of these because I'm in the market for a new pre-build and leaning towards the Corsair. So between the Omen, Aurora, i7 300, no limit on budget, which do you prefer? The design and overall package, I think something about the Aurora R13 just gives me butterflies. Only talking about performance and the longevity of the computers and future upgradability, I'm leaning more towards the Corsair. As you can see in those tests, and if you saw my Corsair Vengeance review, it actually outperformed the Aurora R13 with an i9 processor and a 3090 GPU on a few games. And then it was pretty close on some of the other games. So that's pretty impressive, which tells me that if you went to the 3090 GPU with an i9 processor on the Corsair machine, granted that's going to cost you about $400 more, the Corsair machine. But on that machine, there's less proprietary parts than the Aurora Alienware machine, and the PSU is more upgradable. And when it comes to upgrading your GPU in the future to the 40 series, it's going to be a lot easier to do that on the Corsair machine than on the Alienware machine, just because of how difficult they've made their cabling and their proprietary PSU. Someone's going to create a video on how to upgrade that, but I didn't want to be that person because last thing I wanted to do is fry my computer because I'm trying to mix cables that aren't supposed to mix together, even if I found the right adapter. But then I read a bunch of articles talking about even when the pin connectors and the shapes line up, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work, and it could still fry your computer. So I didn't want to test that out. Let's see. Asher Skylark, nice to see you on here. Asher is one of my OG subscribers. I think he's been there. Since my first video. Is that right? Alpa, how's it going? Jalen, what do you think about the new Alienware 34-inch OLED monitor? I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really excited about it, and I want to try it out as soon as possible. Juan, thanks for the sub. Welcome to the channel. What's the best PC no budget? Which one would you recommend? No budget, from my personal experience, I would say maxing out the Corsair i7 300. The one that I tested was really fast, very upgradable, and it was only an i7 3080. If you max that out to an i9 3090, I'm sure you're going to be getting a very fast machine. So it looks like we're at 88% verifying. I had a copy of Fortnite. I thought I already had it pre-downloaded, but I had a copy of it, so I just moved that over, and now it's verifying that that copy is the correct version of Fortnite. But I promised somebody at 9:30 I would play Fortnite with them for this benchmark test. Until he jumps on, I might jump into another game, but before I do that, I want to make sure that this is done verifying so that that doesn't affect benchmarks at all. And since we've done a few benchmarks, I think I'm going to restart the machine after Fortnite is done verifying, just to make sure we're getting started off on this pure game streaming benchmark tests off with a fresh start. I also do want to. I didn't do that yet. Somebody mentioned that I needed to push the RAM up. It's at 3200 megahertz right now, and I need to move that up to the 3733 that it's capable of. Where was that? I've not done that on an HP machine before. Is it in overclocking? Processor core voltage. Might have to do that in the BIOS because I have not heard of where that would be in the Omen Gaming Hub. Optimizer. Manual boost. No, that's not the speed. Let's see. Thanks so much for answering. I'm a fan. Awesome. I'd like to point out a really nice pre-built I purchased with a great price to performance is the new MSI Aegis. I'll have to check that one out. I haven't looked into that one yet. Okay, thanks. Love your videos, by the way. Thank you, Opa. Appreciate that. Can I join? Because I'm on a PC. Yeah, so I think uh, as long as we have enough room in the party that I'm creating, I'm I haven't done more than 2 people on it before. I think you can do 3 or 4 max. So if I can get uh, gamer tags once I jump into there, I can go ahead and invite people. Or you can see my name on there. I forgot what mine was. Mine was one of those default ones. But first, I want to make sure that I'm getting the highest performance that I can. And I realized my memory is not maxing itself out. So I'm going to restart and jump into the BIOS. Let me make sure I know which hotkey is for the BIOS in HP. Yep, F10. So I'm going to restart this and hit F10. Make sure that I'm boosting my memory to its maximum power, maximum speed. Okay. So the reason you're able to see my BIOS is because I'm going HDMI out through into an external capture card, and then that capture card is going to my streaming PC. So I've got a pretty interesting setup here, but it allows me to show you guys exactly a unlagged version of everything that that computer is seeing, as if it was going straight to a monitor, so that we know that these performance settings are accurate. RAM frequency 3200. No, thank you. Default. XMP profile. That's what we like to see. Okay, that was simple enough. Exit. Save changes and exit. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Okay. Now let's open up Task Manager and double check, make sure that we really are getting the right amount of speed on our RAM. Yep, 3733. Good. Now, for my own sanity, I would like to run Forza at 4K and see if increasing that memory gave us a faster speed. How much is that system going for? This HP Omen 45L that I got, the i9 with the 3090, was $3,700. So quite a bit less than its competition, but there's a few things that it also doesn't have that its competition does have. Z, thanks for the sub. Glad to have you on. All right. I'm going to run this at 4K one more time, even though I did it in the first stream. I got to move my face so that I can see where my buttons are. Oh my gosh. Do we have to do that with the R13, unleash the RAM light like that? No, the R13 I didn't have to do that with. All right, settings good. Ultra, no vertical synchronization. All right, that's ready to go. Let's run this again with the faster RAM. Little hang. What does that mean? By the way, the toner will be used for VC. Did you do this live benchmark stream with R13? Yep, I sure did. Yeah, if you go into my channel videos, I think you have to go into a different tab from on your side of it to see all of my live streams in one category. War Dope, thanks for the sub. Glad to have you on the channel. So Justin, you will be hearing audio from the mic you give away. Nice. Oh, you know what? How do I do that? I might not be able to hear what's going on. I'm not actually hearing what's going on in the games right now because I have through HDMI everything coming into my streaming software in my on my streaming computer as a separate audio input. I think if I add speakers to that, I haven't been able to figure that part of the audio out yet. Because the audio is not actually coming, the audio from the machine isn't actually coming into these headphones, just the audio from my streaming PC. Yeah, I did the stream for the R13, I think, back in December. Yeah, I really enjoyed the stream with MASH IT. I knew that the X17 was going to be a big stream with a lot of people. So having him answering questions as well made it a little less overwhelming, because I want to make sure that I address and reply to everybody and answer questions while running a good benchmark stream. And sometimes that's kind of hard to do with the amount of people that come into those really big releases. Yeah, it looks like on December 8th I did the Aurora live benchmarks. That was actually my biggest stream that I've ever had. I've got 17,000 views on that. Usually my streams don't get that many views. My biggest stream before that was the X17. These Alienware machines get a lot of attention. All right, so I got 157 frames per second. That is pretty good. So how did that compare? Let's go ahead and jump back into this. So before, for 4K at Forza Horizon 4, I had 155. Okay, so I gained, it was still the fastest out of all the machines at 4K, but the slowest at HD. But with that faster RAM, we got 3 more frames, so that's pretty good. Jesse B52, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Was that your second one today? Man, if so, I really appreciate that. All right, so that's exciting that we got a 3 frames per second boost by doing that. Let's go ahead and close this. And now we are going to, let's see if Fortnite is working, and then I can start inviting some of you guys to play this benchmark with me. Hopefully I don't die before I run all my benchmarks. Epic Games game launcher. And I do want to run Afterburner so I can get my overlaid on. I have hardware info on as well so that I can see what my GPU memory temperature is at. Actually, I didn't need Steam open. Epic Games Launcher, what are you doing? You're the man, thanks so much. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Thanks for all your great content again. I'll see you later. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. By the way, my keyboard is $335. Epic Games Launcher, open now. Is it trying to load? Yeah? Alright, I'm gonna force close it and then restart it. There we go. Wow, $300 keyboard, man. That thing must be fancy. All right, Fortnite. Why is it back down to 17% verifying? What in the world? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, we're gonna have to put Fortnite on the back burner. Pause it. I'm going to go ahead and jump into... Yeah, I opened the launcher and for some reason it's back to verifying it instead of starting it. Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk now has its own benchmark tool with the latest release. So it's nice that I'm going to be able to run that in the background while I respond to comments. It better make me coffee in the morning for $300. Maybe it does. I bet you there's a hotkey for that. Press space to continue. Now I want to go into settings. Okay, there's run benchmark. Let me make sure that my video settings are what I typically use. Windowed borderless. We're going to start with 1080p. Do our test with that, since that's the most used resolution. Graphics mode, not ray tracing ultra. We can do that as well, but all of the other tests that I've done have been with ultra, not ray tracing ultra. DLSS off, yep. Everything else set to high. I'm gonna look on my phone real quick and make sure I've recorded my typical benchmark settings, and I want to make sure so that I'm comparing apples to apples and have the exact same settings that I typically use. Okay. All of that. High settings. Ultra. Texture quality I usually have set to high. Is that set to high here? Yep. Everything else set to ultra and high, all the way to the right. Looks good. It's the way I normally have it. I'm gonna hit apply. And it shrunk everything down. I need it to be full screen. Video. Not windowed borderless. There we go. Run benchmark. Ba-dum-tsh. overlay up so I can see what we're working with temperature-wise. Wow, right. Okay, so this is only the pre-recorded video part of it. So that's why we're okay. There's our wattage. It just went up on our GPU. It was weird seeing our GPU only at 90 watts. It just hit 360 at one point right there. Just reset my frames per second average counter. That middle number, when you see frames per second, the middle number is average, the one on the left is minimum, and the one on the right is the maximum frames per second. My spacebar keeps on cracking in the middle, had 2 Alienware 510 Max Cherry keys. Oh, wow. Yeah, I have the Alienware 510M keyboard. I haven't had any issues with it yet. I really like the feel of it. Too bad it's made in China, refuse to support China. The Alienware keyboard's made in China? I feel like everything's made in China. Never buying Alienware again. Have bought 2 Lenovo Legion this time and never going back. Yeah, the Lenovo Legion's pretty fast. My most recent Lenovo Legion 7i, I wasn't able to review it. I had to send it back because I kept getting blue screens every time I ran any type of graphical thing. I know it was just my machine, but it was a disappointment that I had to do that. All right, so we got maximum frames per second of 217. Average is 137 at 1080p. Let's go ahead and type that in. So it's a little bit lower. Let's try 4K. Or no, I'm going to do 1440p first. Thought there was a way to just rerun the benchmark. Glorious Pandas with pre-lubed is Thaki. Huh. $1440p. Let's make sure our graphics settings didn't change. Yep. Ultra. Wait, what? Why did everything just letterbox? No. 2560 by 1440p. That's what we want. Run benchmark. Cyberpunk is a beautiful game. How's this fan sounding right now? It's kind of more of a low hum, sounding similar to almost like a distant AC unit. Not as noticeable as the higher pitched whine of a laptop. How hot? Oh, sorry, forgot to keep that up. How hot does a CPU get? You can see it was at 62 right there at the end. Should have had that up. So average frames per second was 90. Oh, that's at 1440p. I don't have that marked down with our last benchmarks. So now we are going to run a 4K test and see how that holds up. So yeah, the CPU doesn't get very hot. I think, so if you missed the first stream, I was talking a little bit about this cryo chamber right here. It's actually an external cooling solution that basically it takes, the heat goes from the CPU up into the liquid cooled tubes and then into this 240 millimeter radiator, and all of this is cooled directly from fresh, clean and cold air from the outside of the case. So that's kind of a new technology that's pretty cool. That is a lot different than pretty much every other case out there that tries to cool the CPU with preheated air from the inside the case. So now I'm going to go into settings. 3840 by 2160. Make sure my graphics settings are, yep. Apply, run benchmark, and I'll make sure to turn on my overlay this time. And Super Chats is in the way. There we go. Put that at the bottom. And then for the frames per second, I just reset the average counter right there. The frames per second that you see there, the average is right there in the middle, the low is on the left, and the high that it's recording is on the right. My dream PC is Corsair 1000D case with dual 3090 Ti water cooled with a 12900K, 2 terabyte 980 Pro with water cooling loops, but we're talking $10,000. Why would you want dual 3090s? There's no reason for it. SLI is dead and Nvidia killed it for a reason. Best FPS possible plus future proofing for 8K gaming. I wonder how long, with how quickly computers are getting better, how long that would last in the future. A $10,000 PC. So we got an average FPS of 45 frames per second. I believe that's in line with what we were getting before. This Super Chats is kind of... Move that to the corner. Or I just put it underneath me. There we go. So 45, that was actually lower than the other ones. But as you can see, the 4K on the other games we tested were actually the fastest. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Doom. I'll give Fortnite one chance right now real quick and see if that was just a fluke, that it wasn't verifying, or if it'll verify real quick. %, verified. I'm going to have to do a full re-download of that overnight, and then to get that data. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Doom. Animal House, are you talking about Cyberpunk? You're getting 60 frames per second at 4K on your R10? Because that's pretty impressive. Also, are you running the new benchmark test within Cyberpunk, or are you talking about actual gameplay? Because that new benchmark within Cyberpunk is pretty new. %. Future proofing and computers don't mix. Yeah, I'll have to agree with that. Yeah, this is going too slow. I can't wait for this. I'm also running Apex Legends for people who have Apex if you want to play that. But I'm gonna have to pause this, and that's gonna have to be the one game that I re-download overnight and run that benchmark later. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into Doom real quick. Wow, so 4K, you got 60 frames per second in benchmark mode on Cyberpunk. Wow, that's impressive. I'm back, Jay, just tuning in. How's the Omen looking compared to the R13? Well, so far, a current trend that we keep seeing with these games is that it loses in the HD tests. Whoops, why am I hitting exit? What am I doing? It loses in the HD tests, but it seems to be winning in the 4K tests. I didn't run 1440p tests on the Aurora R13, so I can't compare apples to apples with that one. Or if I did, it's on a different spreadsheet that I'll have to go find somewhere else. That was back in December, so I can't remember exactly if I ran 1440p on those. All right, what's the holdup? Did Doom freeze my machine? Sounds like it's working pretty hard. I guess Control-Delete did work for a task manager. All right, now let's jump back into it. Seems like HP don't think their customers are stupid and ship a 12900K desktop with 120mm all-in-one cooler. No, I believe it's a 240mm up in here. This fan right here on the back is 120mm, but what the CPU goes up into, this crowd chamber right here with a radiator, and it's got 240mm fans right up there. All right, come on. Signing in, there we go. I want balanced. I can do ray tracing too afterwards, but I want to compare with the same settings that I ran on everything else. So usually with my Doom Eternal tests, I run basically the first level or so, first 1 or 2 levels on all of my benchmark tests. I meant Dell just, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty interesting that the Aurora R13 made that decision. Wow, Animal House, that's really impressive because my other two 12th gen computers, we must be having different settings or something. 'Cause my other two 12th gen computers, those also were under 50 frames per second. That was with i9 processors and 3090 GPUs. Can you, let's see, how would I get a screenshot of your settings, your graphic settings and your video settings? Yes, I had all my drivers updated, NVIDIA's updated, the BIOS was updated yesterday, and I have Windows updated as well.
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
I thought there was a way to fast forward through this part. Oh, hold R, that's right. All right. So I need to set my graphic settings correctly because it's obviously So Plays official. Thanks for joining. It's obviously some VSync going on here. Vertical sync off. DLS off. Render mode off. Now overall quality, I'm going to set that to Ultra Nightmare. And then all of these are always Let me double check my typical settings for this game. Ultra Nightmare, on. Yep, just want to make sure I'm comparing everything exactly. Apply changes. That's more like it. Hey. Well, I just stepped into some death. What do y'all think is the most powerful PC? Out of the ones that I've tested, I would say the Corsair i7-300, but I haven't tested all of the fastest computers. Nitin Sarma and Mason Ramsey, thanks for joining the channel. All right, load checkpoint. Let's restart this. Reset my average counter. Look at that. 380 frames per second. 370. Am I not ready to go through that door yet? Wow, 410 frames per second right now. Sorry if this is a little gory for some of you guys. Just imagine that's jelly. It's just jelly coming out of their clothes. Get my health and a helmet. Pick this up. E to use. I'm gonna reset my average counter once I go back into this big room. This big room is where I run most of my tests with because it's got a lot of guys running around. I'm gonna let myself die after I get a good test in this room so that I can do a 1440p test. Not this room, the one that's right after this room. This room right here is a great benchmark room. It's got so much going on in it. I'm usually a lot better than this, but there's a slight delay to what my mouse is doing and what I'm seeing on my screen because I'm seeing a delayed version of a stream within my streaming software. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit reset on my frames per second counter. Run around in here like a madman with his head cut off. Try not to die so I can just get a good average of what this performance is doing. Oh, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. I need some health. I thought there was health in this corner. There's always health in that corner. Oh, there's health in that corner. There it is. I was mistaken. Samsonite. I was way off. Okay. So it looks like we've got 38 or 384 frames per second in HD. That's about the average. So I'm going to go ahead, type that in. .384 on Doom in HD, which is faster than what I got on the Aurora R13. Let's see if we have a similar experience with 1440p and 4K. Load checkpoint, we're going to be redoing that same level that I test everything at. Are you using that PC to stream to your laptop? No, so this PC right here is actually going... Oh, sorry about that. This PC right here is actually going through HDMI to this streamer card, which you can't see exactly right here, but it's going through a streaming card. Oh, here it is. This stream card right here, and from there it's going into USB, and that is being treated as a input in my streaming software. So it's basically like my streaming software is a monitor, seeing everything that a HDMI out going to a monitor would see. But the resolution coming out from it can go up to 4K. So nothing to worry about there. First, I need to change my resolution. .2560 by 1440. Apply changes. Bring my display back up. Reset my frames per second counter. And now run around like crazy. I don't want to kill everybody, because as soon as I kill everybody, it takes me to the next level, which is just this one old looking dude by himself, and that's not a good test of benchmarks. This room with all of these crazy cool looking guys with all their polygons and their effects and cool animations, this is a great room for running benchmarks. And since I do all of my games with this level, it's only fair for me to do this level again with this machine. Oh, I need health. No. Ah. Oh, I'm gonna redo that. That wasn't me alive long enough to get a good benchmark. Okay, reset the counter. I can kill some guys, I just don't want to kill most of the guys, because if I kill most of the guys, then it takes me to the next level, and we don't want that. Whoa! Forgot about that trick. Sorry if this is gonna haunt your dreams tonight. Alright, I need health, because I can't kill all the bad guys yet. Imagine if someone builds a powerful PC, but then they just use a 60 Hz monitor. Yeah, that's true. That's why I have VSync off, so we can get an accurate representation of the output of the frames per second, even though on my streaming PC and what you're seeing at home, obviously, it's technically only 30 frames per second, because I believe this stream, I couldn't figure out any settings that went above 30 frames per second. I think streaming 60 frames per second would be quite the data hog. Alright, so I got... It looks like we're resting around 314 frames per second. I'm going to let myself die so I can jump into 4K. And then we're going to throw that into our spreadsheet and see if it is indeed faster than the last two 12th gen pre-builts that we tested. And if it follows the same trend that the other games I had we're doing, then it probably will. May have faulty parts that not giving you 100% performance you should be getting. What are you referring to on this? Because this machine does seem to be performing well compared to the competition of the last ones that I did. From other reviews that I've seen, it does appear that I know Linus Tech Tips, when I watched his review, he had mentioned that the CPU is getting power limited. So it's, I think he said it was like 30 or 40 watts lower than what Intel rates the CPU at. Alright, so I'm going to reset my counter, go into 4K. Apply changes. Alright, so 4K dropped us down to 170 so far. Looks like it's still dropping. Blow that guy up. Get him out of my way so I don't die too quick. That guy he can go too. Boom. Now I'm just gonna run around, let myself stay at least alive so that we can see what a bunch of guys running around does to the frames per second. I don't want to kill too many people. Gotta bring down my awesome skills a little bit. Looks like we're resting around 180 frames per second here. $179. Yeah, so it came down a little bit. The CPU temperature, look at that. You can tell this crowd chamber right here is really doing its job. Because 59 degrees on the CPU, 77 on the GPU. That CPU is looking pretty cool right now. So now that I'm dying and that people are going away, went up to 182, but I'm going to give it a 181 because it was closer to that most of the time. So let's jump into my spreadsheet real quick again. There we go. 181. The fastest 4K and the fastest HD tests that I got on Doom. Apex Legends, always very fast frames per second. So we're going to jump into that one. There is a code that I need to type in. FPS max unlimited, something like that. I'll look it up real quick. I have to type in a code for the start of Apex in order to not have my frames per second capped out. It is plus FPS underscore max unlimited. Let's close down Bethesda. We don't need no stinking Bethesda. SD Plays official. This guy's underrated. His vids take effort to make. Thank you. Appreciate that. They do take a while to make, especially those ones where I put in visual effects, but With this new TikTok generation, I really want to grab people's attention quick in the beginning. I think the rest of my video content is very helpful, but to get them to stick around in that first 10 seconds, that's where the biggest drop off in for YouTubers is the very beginning of the videos. I don't know if they click on the wrong video sometimes or all right, what was I doing? I was about to jump into Apex, that's right. So I need to go into properties. And for anybody else that has had this problem of not getting the most frames per second, usually caps it out at 144 unless you type this in, plus FPS underscore max unlimited. And now it will not keep us from getting our maximum frames per second. Update. Eddie H, yo, I'm back. How we doing? So with Geekbench, Cinebench, and 3D Mark, it was looking a little weak on the scores, but when it comes to actual gameplay, it seems like the HP Omen 45L is holding its own pretty well. On a few of the HD tests, it was lower than the last two 12th gen machines that I tested, but once we got up to the higher resolutions, it seems to be fully trying to use its power. So I'm pretty impressed. It's downloading some small update right now. Logan, that unboxing for the R13 with the lightsabers was very cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's always fun. I come from a visual effects background, so I kind of have this itch to put something different in each video. Even if sometimes it's borderline cheesy, I'd rather that. I'd rather borderline cheesy than to have my videos just the same as everybody else's. Verifying, looks like it's almost done. How do you afford to get these new computers all the time to test? I don't afford to get them. I have to send them back after every time I review them. I don't actually get to keep any of these. Rahul, love you, bro. Thanks, man. Love you too. Okay, play. Here we go. Update done. Agree. Now I'm going to pull up. I have pre-recorded all of my normal benchmarks in a video. I always refer to that when I do these tests so that I can make sure that every single spec, every single stat is the same on my graphic settings. So Apex, where's Apex? Can I ask what computer do you own? So the one that I do for all of my editing is actually a 2-year-old machine. It's the very first computer that I ever reviewed on this channel, which was the Alienware M17R3. It's the one that I'm still currently using today. So, okay, one thing that I forgot to say before opening this up, is there anybody that has Apex Legends that wants to jump in a game? Because I know some people were wanting to play Fortnite, but unfortunately that one is needing a reinstall. Heading out, I gotta be up early. All right, Logan, appreciate you joining. Rahul, I can see you're gonna be a big YouTuber one day. I really hope so. My goal is definitely not to, it's not to get famous, but it is to be able to comfortably be able to support my family and all of our bills on YouTube alone to make this my full-time thing. Um, so if I could do that, doing stuff that I love, creating my own content, spent the past 12 years creating different videos, 3D graphics and visual effects for other people, but they've always been for projects um, where I was very didn't have much creative freedom, so it's nice on YouTube to be able to create exactly what I want. All right, why is this still taking me through? I don't want to watch this video. Okay, am I not remembering the right hotkey? I'm pretty sure I hit every key possible to take me past this video screen.
Like it or not, we're in it together.
Just stay out of my way.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Come on now. There's no way to get past this? I'm hitting every key possible. Am I missing something?
Truce? Not everyone changes sides as easily as you, Wally.
So, you gonna tell us your evil plan?
It wasn't me.
Papá, ¿qué está haciendo?
I don't know. But if it's a villain he wants, I ain't gonna disappoint.
Man, I cannot. I've never had to wait that long. Okay, we're finally in it. Have you thought about branching away from PC reviews? Well, when I first started this channel after I lost my job due to COVID, um, the channel was actually, it used to be called Dad Tech, and I was reviewing tech for dads to make their lives easier, especially because I just had a new baby and I was just trying to help out other dads with cool tech while also finding tech that made my parenting easier. Um, but the views on those type of videos were pretty low. People weren't really that interested in that kind of tech. The one video I did on the computer that I got, the M17 R3, got 10 times more views than any of my other videos. So I figured, let's try another PC review, and that one did well as well. It's updating for me. But yeah, once the channel gets bigger and bigger, I'm getting all kinds of emails from different companies wanting me to review their tech, and it's usually tech that's cool, but it's like maybe $200 or $300 worth of tech, but then there's no money outside of that. I really don't want to muddy my channel with a bunch of random tech that most people don't really care about. But I'll probably get into more bigger name brand tech as the channel gets bigger. But I want to kind of focus on one niche while I'm trying to build the channel up, because I can't really afford too many videos that don't get that many views, because I need this to kind of grow as quick as I can. So you're saying your Apex is loading for you? It's updating? Is there anybody else that wants to jump in Apex? I forgot. What is my name in here? Oh, I guess it is just Justin Tech Tips. I thought I had some interesting name. Yeah, if anybody has Apex and wants to jump in this, I'll wait a little bit because I think Tomo said that his is uploading. I won't be able to hear you because I can't actually hear the audio coming from the computer. I haven't figured out how to get my streaming computer to output the audio that I'm getting from the other computer. I mean, it's outputting to the stream, but if I listen to the stream live, there'd be a pretty annoying delay on it. Hope it gets better for you. Continue the work, and you'll be big one day. Yeah, if by the end of this year, what's been very fortunate for me recently, even though I'm still making less money than I did before COVID, it's been nice that my previous employer that did have to let me go due to COVID, I'm getting freelance work from them. So that's actually half of my income right now, and then the other half is from YouTube and affiliate links. So yeah, anytime somebody chooses to use an affiliate link after they're watching one of my reviews, depending on the company, Best Buy is the smallest commission. They have a 0.5% commission, but Amazon I think is 2.5%, so that's pretty nice. Somebody buys through Amazon, and then HP, I believe theirs is like 2.5 or 3% too. HP, Amazon, and Lenovo are treating their affiliates um, pretty well as far as commission, but some of the other one, Dell, actually, anytime I do an Alienware review, I never make any money off of commission unless somebody buys through Amazon or Best Buy. But let's see here. So it doesn't look like anybody else. Let's see. It sucks you lost your job due to COVID. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I think it is. Um, 2 years before I lost my job, me and my wife were kind of talking about how, because even my boss at the company, I loved my job, but even my boss told me that I was making the most that somebody in my position could ever make, and I could only expect a cost of living raise every year. So that was kind of disappointing to hear that. So I was really looking for the next step. Um, so I mean, maybe this kind of pushed me into the next step, a limitless ability to grow. It's just starting from the bottom is a struggle, and it is pretty difficult because for the first year of doing YouTube, I made $0, and then the second year I'm starting to make money, but it's like half of my actual expenses. I suck, but I'll join Apex launching now. All right. Friends request King Macy. So you have to type on here for me to hear you or to see what you're saying or chat on here. Because I haven't figured out how to get the audio from the other computer into this headset because this headset is actually listening through on my streaming computer. We could do trios updates, bro. So Tomo, are you able to join within the next few seconds, or I guess we can start one game and then uh, for my next, I guess 1440p test, maybe party invitation. Okay, I'll join your party. Um, oh, there you are, King Macy. So that's you, Amaze, King Macy. Couple more gigabytes. We'll go ahead and jump into this. Actually, as I'm jumping in, I need to make sure that my settings are the same as the other tests that I've done. Hi, bro. Love from India. Bolt Rocks. Thanks for joining the stream. SD Plays Official. Gotta go. All right, I'll see you later. Thanks for joining. Why is it? There we go. So I should have selected my settings before starting this.
Eventually, you gotta pull the trigger. Just make sure you know why.
Ready to go. Seen?
Settings 1920 by 1080. VSync disabled. All of this set to high. Let me double check.
Hit the jets. We're dropping hot.
I had the VRAM set to high. Not insane on my other tests. Just want to keep it fair. Always got to keep it fair. Where's the apply changes section? There. Keep these video settings, yes. Alright, Apex, climbing up. I need to get a gun.
First blood. Will turn us
Okay, I'm getting killed by a dinosaur. I really need a gun right about now. Alright, now that we killed a dinosaur, I need to get a gun so I don't keep dying.
Double timing it.
Granted, I'm looking at a very small screen right now. I need a weapon. Where's all the weapons? So as you can see on all these tests, the CPU is doing really well when factoring in the temperature. It's only pushing 108 watts right now. The GPU is up to 350. What's a man got to do to get a gun around here? Where'd you find your gun, King Macy? So the average frames per second is slowing down, which means we're kind of settling into the actual number. This grass looks pretty good. Get my heal drone to help me out here. Oh, another freaking dinosaur. Lizard, whatever it is. I'm either blind or just not going in areas where there's guns.
Hold tight. I got your back.
Thanks, King Macy. There's got to be a gun somewhere. Tired of fist fighting these dinosaurs. A lot of ammo. No actual guns. Maybe there's guns in that building over there. Alright, so we're resting around 239 frames per second. I'm going to go ahead and type that in. Hopefully I don't die in the meantime. So that's significantly less than what I was getting for HD on the Alienware machine. What just happened? It's not letting me type it right now while I'm in a game. That's interesting. I'll type that in later. I'm going to go ahead and change my resolution to 1440p. Oh my gosh. Can never see this apply button with my face in there. My faces ruin it. Okay. I'm back. Getting teabagged. Ooh, what's in? Ooh, gun, weapons. Finally. Locked and loaded. So it looks like we're resting around 211, the 1440p. But yeah, that CPU down to 60 degrees Celsius. Only 95 watts on the CPU. So it's not pushing much power. Taylor Pickle Face. 14 squads left. Hey, Amaze, you mind if we jump out so we can have Tomo in our 4K test? I got other games I need to jump on. I can't wait 13 squads in here. Tomo, what was your Game name? Yeah, I think there's like a 8 per second delay from when I say something to when it shows up on my streaming, my computer where I'm previewing the stream. Tomo, if you look for Justin Tech Tips, or if you tell me your name, or did you already tell me in the stream above? Hey Tomo, what's your stream name? Or your Apex name? Oh, friend request. That's probably it. My bad. Says you're offline though. Are you online in Apex, Tomo? I see PK991YT, but it says you're offline. Two friends in Apex, and yet it says he's offline. It shows that you're not online, Tomo. Oh, there we go. Awesome. All right, I'm ready. I think Amaze is the leader of this party. If he wants to go ahead and start it. Yeah, you're on, Tomo. Feel like I need some background music for some of these quiet parts. I play a mean air guitar, if you guys are interested. I'm in the R13. Temps are mostly 69 degrees, but spike frequently to 72. That Omen is definitely cooler with temps. What frames per second were you getting, Amaze? Did you see the settings that I was using? Yeah, matchmaking does take a while. I'll probably only be on this with 4K for about 5 minutes, and then I need to jump on to another game. Get as many games benchmarked tonight as possible.
I'm the jump master. No pressure, me. Hold your breath if you have to
and set 4K.
An enemy landed near me. Do you think they want to be my friend?
Ah, champions out, huh?
First blood on the enemy.
We're inside the ring. One less thing to worry about.
Okay.
You'll be alright. I gotcha.
Oh, I'm already getting shot up. Looks like a bunch of people need reviving already. Who can I help revive?
I got you, friend. I am taking.
No! Wow. We got eliminated quick. Jeez. I need to tell them to take it easy on me because I'm trying to do benchmark tests. We did. Is it starting a new match? Or we gotta wait for the next... Alright, I gotta jump into another game. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do one quick match by myself to get a 4K test. So I can get a bunch more games benchmarked here. Oh, okay, you guys are still in my party? Alright, yeah, if we can just get this started. Ready, there we go, ready.
Wanna fly, compadre? Let's fly.
I came here for revenge. But I'll stay for the treasure. If you can't keep up, you're straight out of luck. Introducing your champion.
Wanna be here? Take me out.
Let's land here. Hold on tight. It's time to drop, shock, and rock.
So far, 125 and climbing. I'm going to follow King Macy because he seems to always know where there's a gun. There's a gun.
First blood. Gotta be someone. Glad it's not one of us. Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
Wow, 51 degrees on the CPU, 53. I have a feeling these frames per second are a little bit lower than the other machines. Ayush Mishra, the resolution is 4K that we're running right now. I have the settings pretty much maxed out. I'll show you that real quick. You can see I have all these settings maxed out. VSync is off so we can see what our frames per second is. The texture streaming budget, I have that at high, but that's only because all the other games that I've tested, I've had that at high versus the insane over here, but everything else is set on high. Just want to make sure I have as fair of a comparison with all the other machines that I've tested as possible. So 126, I've been running this test for a while.
Nice. Champion's out. Meat wagon's having one hell of a day.
127,
Keep up with me, compadre. Taking fire.
128. That middle number right there is the average. The one on the right is the high, and the one on the left is the low. Ho! I'm gonna die. So 127 is about where it was at, average that whole time. So I have a feeling that's lower than the other ones that I've tested. It's interesting to see how these games differ. Yep. I think I need to close this down before it'll let me use my keyboard again. Why is it not letting me? There we go. So it's pretty interesting on Apex. Another game that I always test, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, but I tested that. No, I didn't test that yet. We'll wait on that one though, actually. The Witcher is another good one while I have Steam open. Always updates. Tomo, thanks for being a part of this stream for both streams. I'll catch you later. Alright, so on Witcher, my video settings, we're going to set it to 1080p first. That's what I always start with. High, ultra, ultra, ultra. I need to remove the webcam sometimes. Hide it. Detail level. Okay, that's where it should be. NVIDIA Hairworks. That's the one setting that I'm not sure about if I have that the same as everything else. Yep, Hairworks I have set it for on the other ones. So Ultra always brings it to 4K. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So I use this one level outside consistently for my benchmarks. It's got a really nice panoramic view of a lot of different trees with a lot of polygons, so I think it's a good one to benchmark. All right. So let's go ahead and start running around and see what this does to our frames per second. CPU 60 degrees right now. I'm going to climb to the tallest room of the highest tower. I'm going to look over the land. As I look over the land, I shall see my frames per second. There's a lot of polygons over there. It's having to draw a lot of different things. So 208 frames per second at HD. 207. 206. Looks like it's dropping the more that I look around. Thought there was a taller room than this. I know there's a taller spot than this. Oh yeah, how do I get over there? Alright, so it came back to 208. Yeah, we'll give that a 2. Actually, went down to 207 again. We'll give it a 207. So, Witcher 3. Look at that. 207. It's the highest score that we've got out of all the other 12th gen PCs. I'll test 1440p real quick before our 4K test. That was not the right resolution. Oh. There we go. 1440p is the sweet spot of gaming. Alright, let me make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Thanks, Jay. Had a blast. I'll still be on the stream. Temps on the second match seem to be higher, spiking 77 for me, hovering around 69. 4K at 120 on the R3, R13. Looks like we're getting 155. Oh, oh. Oh, did I kill myself? Oh, I didn't kill. I was just playing dead. Wow. That would have killed you in real life. That's not realistic. Not impressed. So I can jump up here? No. I always like running it for a good few minutes to make sure that my averages are indeed average. $158, $159. Slowing down on its changes. Okay, 158. That's 1440p. 157. But I don't need to record 1440p for comparison. All right, now let's jack this up all the way to 4K. Okay, so now we're down to 102, 103. And go up higher. Oh, a little bird. So how do I get up there? So I can have a better look at the land. Oh, there's the little ladder. Bear with me, my delay on this game with the streaming computer is messing me up. Oh. Oh, this guy climbs up ladders really slow. I don't know if you guys have seen the TV show The Witcher, but they did a really good job with that. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Getting super high up. I think that's the high. Nope, that's not the highest I can go. If I can jump up here, I think I can. Yep. Look how high up I am. I always like doing that in games, just getting as high up as I can get. Wow, that's a lot of trees. Alright, so 104 frames per second. That's about where it rested. Now, let's type that in for comparison. Wow. Okay, so no, I beat out the Corsair. Just slightly shy of the Alienware. Now I'm gonna jump into, ooh, Warzone's a good one. I like testing that one. Warzone's fun. You know what, just for a test for you guys as well, I'm gonna restart this computer, do a 4K test on Witcher again, since that one didn't take too long, and I'm gonna see if restarting the machine changes benchmarks at all. Cheese Bella, I'm liking this Omen. Yeah, it's definitely a very stylish and well-designed, well-built machine. Oh, one thing, I don't know if you guys have seen, but it's extremely modular. The taking off this side panel is literally just this button right here, and then it comes out like that. You don't have to use, there's no tools that you need. Both sides are that same way. You just press a button, it pops off. This front part, there's two buttons, one on each side. You pop that off. You can access your fans that way. It's really pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna jump back into Witcher now that I've restarted the machine and see if that affects my frames per second at all. JW, I ordered the Corsair Vengeance 7300 i7-300 on Saturday. Congratulations. I was mentioning in my first part of this machine when people were asking me what I think the fastest machine is. Based on my experience, because the i7-3080 version competed very well with the Alienware i9-3090. I feel as though, from my experience, I know there's other machines out there that are super fast that I just haven't tested yet. Um, the i7-300 with an i9 and a 3090, a very future-proof machine. I mean, nothing's completely future-proof, but pretty close to as future-proof as computers can get right now. Can you put the link for the Omen? Yes, I can. I believe it's in the description, but I will copy it again into the chat. And this is an affiliate link, so it takes you the same exact thing as a normal link to the website. Doesn't charge you anything extra, but if anybody clicks on this link and later decides to purchase an HP Omen 45L, I get a small commission from that. So if you're going to buy it, it's a very tiny little effort to click on this. Actually, it's faster for you because when you click on the link, it takes you directly to the website without you having to type anything in. And yeah, us YouTubers really rely on that kind of income to help keep our channels going. All right, skip through all this. Skip faster. Let's go ahead and make sure that Afterburner is running. Where is my Witcher? I might have to restart Witcher 3. Seems to be blacked out on me. Symmetrical, what's your next upcoming laptop vid? Well, the most recent one that I was able to order to get my hands on was the Razer Blade 17. Have not gotten a notification yet on whether that has been shipped yet. So the next video is most likely going to be the unboxing of this computer. Then I'm doing a review video of this computer after that. And until other computers come in, I really want to get my hands on a GE76, but I haven't seen that in stock anywhere yet. both me and Mash IT are teaming together on the new M17 R5. When that comes out, we're going to be getting different configurations of that so that you guys can weigh your options. We should be doing a combined live stream for that as well. Those are the next two laptops I plan on getting. G76 earlier if it decides to come earlier. But I do plan on doing some comparison videos in the meantime as well. Also, there's a new. I really love crypto. There's a new Ledger Nano S. It's the Ledger Nano S Plus. They actually said that they're going to be sending me the newest version before it's released. So I should be doing a video talking about that as well. It looks pretty cool. It's about half the price. It's smaller, but it looks like it does the same thing as the Ledger Nano S or Ledger Nano X, which is quite a bit larger. I ordered the Alienware 38-inch ultra wide screen and it arrived with a broken panel. Oh man, that's unfortunate. That's got to be a really extreme day of emotions. Extremely excited seeing it pull up, open it up, got the butterflies, turn it on. It's got the lines all over it. That's got to be the worst. Okay, yeah, so everything's still set up to 4K. I'm going to play that same level. I'm really interested to see if restarting the computer has an effect on these benchmarks. Was Dell pretty nice about it when you told them about it, or did they not trust you and give you a hard time about it? Oh, it already started me up at the top. That's nice. It's less for me to have to do. Less climbing. It's getting a little tired of climbing anyways. So far it still kind of looks like it's around that 101, 100. Well, restarting the computer almost appears to have given us 2 frames per second less. So, needless to say, we can come to the conclusion that restarting the computer didn't really help us out at all. Nope. Alright, so I'm going to jump on to the next test. That was just something I was curious about. Make sure that Witcher is complete. Oh, no. Cancel. The next one that I wanted to run, or we can just go ahead and do more Steam games. I already did Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Red Dead Redemption I have not done yet. Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto are 2 that I haven't done yet on here. Wonder if I should get the OLED version, but a 34-inch and wait like 2 months. Yeah, it's a long time to wait. 34 inches. I guess 34 inches and not an ultra wide. It's not that much. It's probably about the same amount of screen area, right? Because the ultra wide 38 inches is really just a skinny monitor. With my experience with OLED though, OLED looks sick. The Gigabyte Aero 15 on that laptop, that was my favorite display, and I think it was the only display that I've tested so far with OLED. But those blacks just look super black. Everything's just really rich. Mr. Cool Sound, what's going on? Good to see you again. Wow, it's already 11:10. Wow. Still got 50 minutes, but I want to make sure that I get as many games going in as possible. Yeah, symmetrical. When I go to MSI's website, there's a few times that I went there and it said, "Oh, it's in stock. It's in stock at these retailers." And even MSI's own website, when it says in stock, and I click on that and I go to actually purchase and shop for an i7 with a 3080 or 3090, no, 3080, um, that it's not available. So it's almost like they just want to play with my heart. I have both the 38-inch and the old 34-inch Alienware monitor, not that much bigger. Get the OLED, looks way better. That is some solid advice. Thank you, Jalen. So, Mr. Cool, about that, Fortnite, unfortunately, in the beginning of the stream, I had it copied over and it kept saying verifying, and it verified all the way to 100%. And then restarted verifying. So I think I'm going to start with a fresh install. So I'm going to have to do that overnight. So I might play in the morning at some time, but I won't be able to do that for this stream. So I think it's like 20 gigabytes for the main. Oh, I just lost my little. Where's my fuzzy? Did I lose my fuzzy during my sneeze? There's my fuzzy. It's supposed to sound less spitty with the fuzzy. Enable cloud saves, yes. Yeah, so the main part of Fortnite I think is like 20 something gigs, and then with the high resolution textures option, it's like 20 something more gigs. And I always have that in my other benchmark tests, so I want to make sure that I'm running my benchmarks with the high resolution textures so that I'm comparing apples to apples. Hey, JW, have you checked to see if Best Buy sells those? Sometimes they have stuff in stock that Dell themselves don't have in stock. And you can get stuff from Best Buy a lot quicker. Oh, come on. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I, at some point, I'll need to run the Fortnite benchmark because I plan on sending this computer back tomorrow. Just because I've had it for a few weeks now while I was recording some of my other videos, so now it's due back for me to send it back now. Is it loading right now or is it not? Oh, there we go. Do story mode. There's this one open air level that I like testing on. Why are you sending it back? Because my time to review it is up. I can't afford to keep all these super powerful computers. I'm actually still running on a M17R3 from 2 years ago. Oh, are you talking to JW about his monitor or me? Is the motherboard able to be swapped out for a better one at a later date? I believe so because from what I've read, you can actually purchase this case by itself in spring, I believe. So everything it's an ATX case. Everything's pretty modular. Um, so yeah, there's not very many proprietary pieces in it, which is good. You can replace the PSU if you want to. Loading story mode. Well, it's taking a while to load. There we go. Yeah, one day, if I get well off enough, I may keep these computers for future referencing, or maybe I'll be doing some giveaways. But as of right now, I'm just scraping by each month. All right, so I'm gonna make sure that my settings are the same as what I do with my other PCs. Graphics. Get up my phone where I recorded that information. Okay. Ignore suggested limits. DirectX 11 full screen, 1080p. Auto. On off. VSync I always have off. I always have those population densities up all the way. All of that set to very high. Actually, texture quality I normally have at just high with my other tests. Reflection MSAA off. Soft shadows have to sharp. Post effects high. Sorry if this part is boring, I'm almost done with it. Just want to make sure that I'm giving each computer a fair try. So actually I have that set to X8, not X16. X16 is pretty high. I want high settings, but I don't want crazy settings that don't make a huge difference. So now it's going to make me restart because those were quite a few settings. So you don't get to keep that PC? No, unfortunately I don't. It looks like from what I've seen on like iJustine and uh, what's another one? Your Average Consumer and Austin Evans, they all got this machine sent to them in a block of ice, so that was super cool. Really jealous of that. But not even they get to keep these computers from what it looks like. It looks like they have to send theirs back as well. They called it a review unit. I think even the biggest tech YouTubers like Linus Tech Tips and as far as laptops, Jared's laptops, um, I don't think they get to keep hardly any of their machines. I saw Jared in a comment say that Alienware hardly ever even sends him laptops anymore. I think that's why me and Mash IT tend to get more views on our Alienware videos, is because there's not as many videos about Alienware because they don't give out that many review units. Yeah, unfortunately with HP,
Your son, he's a good kid.
their return policy is kind of frustrating.
Kid. Why? Does he help the fucking poor? No. He sits on his ass all day, smoking dope and jerking off while he plays that fucking game. If that's our standard for goodness, no wonder this country's screwed.
And what about you?
Come on.
All right.
Damn.
All right, I'm at 1080p right now.
Yeah, and all this shit paid for with bad credit.
Daddy, which one you want, nigga?
That middle number right there is my average. Right now it's around 168. So typically what I do in this level is I drive kind of a set path for about a minute. That same route, I drive that route on all of the machines so that I'm comparing them exactly to each other.
Like that? Bobby big dick on a nigga, huh? Shit, for real, homie? Damn, this motherfucker got robo-roof and everything, nigga. He should have paid the nizzo. Man, you gotta grind to keep that shit. Now it's back on us. Hell yeah, I wanna see what it do. Hey,
Multi-million-dollar companies can't give away 10 units to streamers who are promoting their good. Tight mofos. Yeah, it's kind of insane that, like, I don't know how big you have to be to have all the companies send you laptops for free, or even just, I don't get review units yet. I mean, hopefully eventually. I've gotten a few very inexpensive computers for free, more like Chromebook type computers. Never gotten a computer for over $500. So 169. Oh. I mean, I really like Alienware, and I would have hoped I mean, I never expected this, but, and I don't say nice things about them in hopes that they send me units. Actually, in my X17 review, there's quite a few things that I said I didn't like about it. But I've seen how many people have clicked on my affiliate links, or just links in general, and I know they get a good amount of sales from my videos, so it's kind of crazy that... Alright, so 166, go ahead and type that in. Mark Shaw, oh, thanks for jumping back on. Yeah, this is my the most amount of hours that I've spent streaming in one day. In 30 minutes, it'll have been 5 hours. Oh, did my benchmarks window go away? What happened there? Oh, cool, I can go back in the stream on my other window, so I can see what just happened in the past. I didn't know I could do that in real time. Just double checking what the frames per second was again. Oh, weird. It's like looking at my past with a 5-minute delay. Alright, yeah, 168, 167. Yeah, that was about where I was at. Let's see how that compares to my other computers. Okay, GTA 5. Alright, 167. So the Corsair actually beat both this computer and the Alienware, but this computer did better than the Alienware computer. So it's kind of interesting that that happened. I'm going to try out 1440p real quick and then 1080p. Did you try graphic mods on this PC for GTA? No, I did not do that. I think that's a good thing to get into, though. That's a good idea. 1440p. Hopefully my Vengeance pre-built won't take forever, especially since Corsair headquarters is only 200 miles from me. Oh, where's that? I've always wondered what state their headquarters is in. Also, my Corsair, from the time clicking order to receiving it, it took 22 days exactly for me to get it. Demystify, how's it going? That's pretty interesting. I'm getting a higher frames per second at 1440p than I did at 1080p. This HP Omen really intrigues me at its higher resolutions. It's like when it's at 1080p decides to just sit back and relax and think, oh, I don't need to try that hard. It's only 1080p. And then when I start raising the resolution, it says, okay, I guess I'll start trying to be cool. I'll try a little harder. Okay, it's going down a little bit. I guess this is about the time that it was going down too. There's just a lot of people in this part of the town. So 163, it's about where it's stopping at. 164, okay, I'll type, no, I won't type that in because I'm not recording 1440p. But I am about to get really excited about this 4K test. Demystify, hello, how's it going? Did you have a question, Demystify, or just wanted to say hello a lot of times? Wait a second. Oh, I just realized you guys probably don't care much, but my face is gone. There we go, there's my face. Now you can see it's a real person. Let's jack this up to 4K. Yes. Mighty the developer. Oh, is that okay? So you have two different names? I remember Mighty the developer. He's one of my OG subscribers. So here we are at 4K, rocking 152 frames per second.
Like that? Bobby big dick on a nigga, huh? Shit, for real, homie.
Do you and your wife play video games? I play because I've been doing so much work lately. The gaming that I've been doing, the gaming that I've been doing has been mostly benchmarking. Other than that, for fun, I love Halo, but out of convenience, the game that I play the most is actually Call of Duty Mobile on my phone. Gotten pretty good at that game. I know it's ironic that I'm doing gaming computer reviews and play more games on my phone, but one of these days maybe I'll get some editing help, be able to hire some editing help, and then won't have to do my freelance job as much. Have some time for some chill time, some video games again. I used to play a lot of video games in high school. Wow. So 4K, so it must have dynamically modified some of these settings, because at 4K, I'm getting more FPS than at 1440p. What are your thoughts on the R13 not allowing any XMP profiles for DDR5? I think that is ludicrous. I think it's absolutely crazy that they've done that. There's really, I mean, there's no reason for that. Only limiting themselves for the future. I mean, hopefully maybe with a BIOS update, they'll finally let you do that. Big Fish Tech, there's no time for fun anymore after you have kids in the house and doing YouTube, seriously. Yeah. Fun kind of takes the back seat. But that's why it's important to choose a line of work that is somewhat fun. I mean, nothing's fun when you do it too much, but it's more fun than something that I hate. So that was pretty interesting. 169 at 4K. Something about that doesn't feel right to me. So I'm just going to move on. Just let that be weird for now. And let's jump on Warzone. If this closes like I told it to. Maybe a BIOS update would enable it like they did with the X17 Advanced Optimus BIOS update. Yeah, I could see that happening. It's almost like when they make a video game and they're somewhat done with it, but they don't want to release the whole thing, so they create some nice DLC content later on. Give everybody something to look forward to. But it also gives their developers a lot more time to test out the bugs on something that they're really not too confident about yet. Oh man. Mr. Beast, I think he probably has like 10 editors or something like that. Actually, I know he handed over the keys to the production part of his YouTube channel to some production company, to where like he basically creates all the ideas and sets everything up, but as far as all the filming and editing, like he doesn't have to think about any of that. Probably has creative direction on how it all turns out, but he's got a nice team helping him out now, which he deserves it because he spent many years working really hard on all that. Warzone. Sorry, sometimes when I'm talking I forget what I'm clicking on. Confirm with the support engineers, they said they don't plan on supporting XMP, as in the machine wasn't designed for it. Keeping my machine anyway, but disappointed. Oh, that's unfortunate. Thanks for that information, Zahir. I was pretty curious about that myself. Literally, there was an update to Call of Duty this morning when I tested out these games. And now there's another update. How many updates does Call of Duty need? You are on the way too, man. One day you will have your team too. And the day that I have a team, I might cry. Cause yeah, it does get kind of tiring sometimes doing it all by yourself. Plus, you want to spend time with your family and not neglect them. And in order to pay the bills, I gotta keep doing that freelance too. But definitely putting over a 40-hour work week into YouTube every week on top of freelance. So I'm just seeing it as a difficult start to a hopefully nice journey. Starting fresh at something new is never easy, but YouTube is a very difficult thing as well. Actually, I saw an interview with who was it? Wow, I can't believe I just forgot his name. Not Jake Paul. Wow, I just forgot Jake Paul's more famous brother's name. You know I'm tired when I forget famous YouTubers' names. Anyways, I saw him in an interview, and he said that doing YouTube was harder than training for boxing against Mayweather. And I believe it. There's just so much competition out there, so many good YouTubers, that it's kind of discouraging sometimes when you see how quickly some of the bigger guys put stuff out, how high quality it is, but then you just gotta take a step back and realize, okay, you've been doing computer reviews for less than a year. You've been doing YouTube overall for almost 2 years, but computer reviews for less than a year. I like to set small goals, milestones over a few months and reach those. Just be the best me that I can be. And eventually, we'll get better. Just gotta stick with it. Why is it in the audio section? I don't want to change the audio. In progress of installing shaders to optimize performance during play. Big Fish Tech, you're doing fantastically. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm really enjoying your videos too. They have it listed in the BIOS, but grayed out. Have it listed on the RAM sticks itself, 4800 megahertz. Makes no sense. Yeah, I don't get why they would do that. It almost seems like they're making stuff up to say that it's not designed to handle that, when the RAM sticks literally are designed to handle that. So why, I mean, in what proprietary way did you design the motherboard that it can't tap into what the RAM sticks were designed to do? Imagine in a year or two, maybe 5 years, then you hit 100K subs, got some 50K or 100K views per day. That's crazy, man. You better put on your sunglasses because your future is bright. Thanks, man. I hope so. That would be awesome. Did it just restart my Warzone? What? An error occurred while launching the game. Please check for updates, scan and repair that fix this issue. Are you kidding me? Okay, here we go. We could try to play Warzone if you want. Yeah, if we can get that all set up. I forgot what my name on here was. It's taking a long time to load. Oh, there we go. Whoops. Keep forgetting to put my face back on. What happened here? It's taking a long time to load this. Square Prince 729. Okay. Send an invite. Actually have not invited a friend on Warzone before. Silent Storm. Oh, is that long number really attached to my name? Where do I add a friend? You can see I'm not used to having friends here. Do you want to add me? I'm Silent Storm number 4828578. I'm gonna have to just go ahead and jump into a game here. We'll jump onto a match with 1440p or 4K. Click under my name. Click under my name here. Clicking under my name here. Oh wait, here we go. Online, friends requests. No received requests. How do I add? Okay, add friend. Here we go. Okay. Square. It's hard to see on my small streaming window. Square Prince 729. Send invite. Oh, you sent me one. Online. No friends. Quick invite. So it should pop in here, right? Have to go. Good luck, man. See you later. See you later, big fish. Not joinable. In a party. Oh, there you are. Okay. Alright, now we can jump into... It's a match where it's just shooting and we don't... And we can come back to life. Battle Royale, it always puts you in the prison. I don't like going there. I just want to keep dying and coming back to life. Rebirth. Survive to redeploy fallen teammates and earn points. Let's do that one. Oh, need to make sure I'm setting my settings right. I'll set that during the game.
Enemy soldier nearby.
To let you know I'm bad at Warzone. Well, I'm good when I'm not streaming. When I'm streaming, I'm having to play with a weird lag from my streaming computer, my streaming software.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Wow, that's massive.
Practice is over. The real fight begins
Alright.
now. Enemy dropping into the AO.
Let's get my resolution settings. Graphic settings. Make sure all this is the same. This is the boring part, so bear with me while I'm making sure for a couple minutes.
Getting ready for Royale.
Render resolution. No, I don't want 1280 by 720.
Gas is approaching your position. Get to the safe zone.
We'll get back to 100. Automatic disabled.
Supply box ready for pickup.
Quality settings. Apply.
Taking fire.
Everything set to high.
Enemy UAV active.
Details and textures. Normal, high, enabled, near. On-demand texture streaming. Have that as disabled. Post-processing.
Enemy UAV active. Deployed.
NVIDIA DLSS disabled.
I see the enemy.
Weapon motion blur enabled. Shadow and lighting.
Bastards are shooting at me!
These are all in a different order on my... Shadow map resolution normal. Enabled. High. Disabled.
Gas is moving.
Ambient occlusion, I have dynamic objects. High. Okay, that was quite a lot of settings that I needed to customize according to how they were before on my other machines. Sorry about that.
Enemy UAV active.
Okay, so at 1080p, it looks like we're getting... And I'm dead.
Enemy down. Learn from the loss and come back stronger.
I placed 13th. I died pretty quick.
Moving on, shooter.
Cash money. That is a lot of room.
Wow, it's 11:57. This is gonna have to be my last test. Man, that was quick. Oh wait, invite, accept invite. Joining game session. Wow, this is a long joining game session. Unable to join game session. Weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to join a random game so I can get this benchmark through.
Use this time to train a bit. We'll be deploying soon.
I already died. I need to land somewhere safer. Jeez.
Preparation's done. Time to deploy to the war zone. Battle Royale. The gas is closing on your position. Suggest you start running. Mark a drop point for your team. You'll lead them in.
Reset my frames per second. Average. That middle in the middle. That number in the middle is the average frames per second. Right now, it looks like we're getting 175,
All targets in the AO.
72. We're in an area of some pretty thick vegetation.
Send me on a dummy mission to fuck with that truck, bro. What the fuck? Fuck you.
So 164 is about where it's staying at. 163.
You want some dumb shit. Leave that motherfucking truck alone, bro.
Yeah, I'll put 163 in there.
Smoke. The fuck? Nigga said, let's go to the truck, cuz.
You're being tracked by an enemy team.
So it's less than the Aurora R13. Let's see how well it handles 4K. Where was that setting? There it is. So far, 111. CPU still pretty cool. 72 degrees, 68 degrees. JW, this is the 3090 GPU on an i9 processor, and it appears to be a pretty cool i9. I don't know if you saw earlier in the stream, but it's got this cryo chamber. So basically, the liquid cooling takes the heat from the CPU up through the tubes into this dedicated radiator. And then that pulls air directly from the outside of the case versus the preheated air that cases typically have to pull from within inside the case. So it's a pretty cool technology to help keep it cool. We're not seeing that really make the performance that much better. It's keeping it really cool. So it shows us our throttling is more probably in the power limiting than thermal limiting. And based on what I saw from Linus Tech Tips review, it appears that it could be pushing itself harder than it is. But I mean, for some reason, every time I go up to the 4K resolutions, it seems to be trying harder. So average of 115 frames per second at 4K. Yeah, there we go. Yet again, it proved itself more powerful at 4K than everything else. Very interesting. Just for my own sanity, I want to try it at 1440p too. Just because a lot of people have monitors that are 1440p. Yeah, overall these temperatures on pretty much every game have been pretty nice. Let's go down this waterfall. So it looks like we're averaging 147 frames per second right now. What were I getting at 1440? So I'm on 1440 right now. What was your question? What were I getting? $148, $149. So yeah, what I was getting at 1440 is this. I went from 1080p straight to 4K, but now I jumped back down to 1440 just to see how that handled. So yeah, 150, not bad. To recap on that one, it was 163 at HD. So it's very interesting that it lost with these frames per second on a lot of the games when it came to HD. But pretty much every game it won with 4K. So, and it's cheaper than the Aurora R13. It doesn't have DDR5, it has DDR4, but that shows right here that it's not really mattering too much considering how well it benchmarked. So it is past midnight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do plan on filling in the rest of these scores at some other later point. Those will be in the full review. But I also have this benchmark sheet down in the description below. At the top of the benchmark sheet, you'll see all of my laptops that I've benchmarked. So this little playground that I've been dealing with, these new, I'll make a dedicated benchmark spreadsheet for these here in the future. But for now, it's all the way down to row 434 where you can see these new 12th gen pre-built PCs. So I'll organize that a little better in the future, but for now I'll be updating that down here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and make sure to like and subscribe because I will be doing much more of these on the latest and greatest gaming PCs, and keep an eye out for my new unboxings and reviews coming soon.